Okay, look, I can hear the comments already. Another Kingdom Hearts baseball video? Who asked for that? Does the Venn diagram of KH fans and baseball fans even meet anywhere at all? Well, I'm here to tell you, I have no idea. Still, I'm a simple man with tiny little thoughts in my head. One of those is I like jelly beans and I like pancakes. Would they go well together? And another is, hey, I made that whole big long KH baseball video a while back, but I only drafted one team. How are you supposed to play a game with only one baseball team? Don't worry, my brain, I have the answer. You can't. As such, methinks it's high time to give the Traverse Town Travelers some competition. That's the first team, by the way. But you knew that because you watched the first video, right? Yeah, you watched that video. Yeah, I'm sure you did. It's cool. I just want to make sure. But yeah, no, you watched it. I'm not even worried about it. You watched it. We're good. Yeah, no, we're fine. Let's assemble the meanest, nastiest bunch of malcontent sporting talents since the Monstars. Unlike the Monstars, though, the skills that this elite squad brings to the table weren't stolen via magic ritual or sci-fi cartoon wackiness. No, these premier athletes simply honed their skills through rigorous training, preparation, drills, and... I just kind of picked them based on vibes. But still, this unit has been constructed in direct opposition to the Travelers, almost like an evil, darkly reflected version of our main characters. That's kind of a neat idea. Square should do something with that. Like last time out, I'll assign a Heartless to each defensive position, including 2 starting pitchers, a closer, and a manager. The original video really broke down the specifics of each position, so I'll keep this one fairly tight in that regard and focus more on the characters themselves. After all, if you're willing to watch the second edition of a KH baseball team series, I'm betting you're familiar with what a first baseman does. And if not, well, we'll have some fun together anyway. I do have something special planned for this edition, though. I'll be getting some input from my compatriots Pointful and BJ Burnsy, who, in addition to being fellow fans of KH Ball, I'm still workshopping that name, are also ultra homies.
Hey, it's BJ Burnsy. Listen, Max got a solid team, but I'm here to make it even better. I got my backwards cap on. I'm ready to talk ball. Let's go.
Hello, this is Point, and I'm here to give my opinions on the Heartless baseball team. Been a baseball fan since I was a tiny little thing. Grew up an Oakland A's fan, so I do think that I am uniquely equipped to comment on teams that are surrounded by darkness. So let's go.
As we work our way through each position on the roster, I'll have these two give their opinions on the various Heartless being drafted to each spot. I'll also mention that these two have only seen the lineups and roster itself. They haven't seen my script, and have no idea of what my reasoning is for setting my roster up this way. So their reactions are purely theirs, without my input at all. Will they wholeheartedly agree with my picks, or will the two of them add another side, another story to our proceedings? That's the allure. With all that preamble done with, let's get into it. It's the first time I've done a sequel video, so let's make it a good one. It's time to start. Only the sturdiest, bulkiest, and most durable Heartless could handle the rigors of the catching position, so why not snag the literal embodiment of the concept? SZA really got it right. I do need a big boy. The large body is one of the most recognizable enemies in the Kingdom Hearts series, and has appeared in almost every game, being kind of a pain to deal with in all of them. I mean, I guess they're not so bad if you just remember to run around to their back and mollywop them from behind like a Boo attacking Mario in a castle. That's the only comparison I could come up with that wasn't going to raise any eyebrows. Still, these hefty henchmen have some pop and should fill the spot of backstop very well. These guys are actually some of my favorite enemies in the series. Maybe it's because they kind of remind me of myself. I too typically get around by sliding on my tummy like a penguin, but I've always had a soft spot for these big galoots. That's why I had to make sure we secured a spot on this Heartless lineup for this rotund receiver. Whether it's acting as an impenetrable, fleshy wall on a play at the plate, or using all that mass to smash an extra base hit, large body should make his presence felt on both sides of the ball. It's kind of hard to miss, so you'll probably feel his presence anyway, but yeah, old LB is the first member of our Heartless crew. Wait, LB, like a pound? Like the unit of weight? LB equals weight? Is that a bit that I only just now picked up on? Has everyone known about this but me? With large body added to the roster, let's check in with our friends and see what they have to say about this selection.
All right, at catcher, you've got large body, a good pick. He's sturdy, durable. With that frame, he's got to make sure nothing gets past him. He's got those Hulk arms too, so he'll probably be a reliable 30-homer hitter every year. But I want you to look at his face. Now, this is not the face of an intelligent man, or Heartless. He's sort of doofy looking, And no offense, as I'm sort of doofy looking myself, but can we rely on this guy to call a good game, to be on the same page as the pitcher? I'd also question his ability to throw out runners with any kind of accuracy. He's got the power arm, sure, but does he have the flexibility to even get up to throw the ball to second base? I don't know. Alternatively, I'm going to throw out defender as my ideal catcher. First and foremost, just look at him. He's already got the catcher stance perfected. Just turn that shield into a mitt and he's good to go. I also think he's just smarter than large body. He has the cleverness to use an actual shield to defend himself instead of just his belly. We love a smart catcher, and that's what defender gives you.
Large body as the catcher. I think this is a perfect idea. Love that the catcher can also get a runner out at second who's trying to steal a base just by ricocheting the ball off of his body. The only other Heartless that I think could work as the catcher would be the defender. He probably isn't catching it with his hand, but I feel like he could catch the ball with the mouth of the dog in his shield. I think that would work out well too. I feel like they can switch off being catchers on their off days. Thinking about them in terms of batters, I also feel like they would work just as well. Again, large body, kind of just flaps his arms around. Defender would probably also be good, but I think that he would have to put his shield down to be able to hit, unless he is smacking the ball with his shield, in which case might not get very far. So maybe large body is better in that regard. But yeah, solid pick. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I won't lie, I didn't think about defender. That's a pretty good call, actually. Well, too late now. On to the next. Our first base position will be occupied by one of the most recognizable bosses in the series. The guard armor is an odd automaton that uses abilities granted to him by the Chop Chop fruit to rearrange himself in any which way he pleases. Able to throw his pieces around with the force of a perfection board game. Remember that one? This giant Cubix was the first obstacle that Sora, Donald, and Goofy faced as a trio. His separation powers means he's expertly equipped to play the first base position, detaching an arm to snag a high throw or sending a foot over to the bag before a base runner can arrive. That classic first baseman split move becomes a lot easier to pull off when you don't have to worry about stuff like femurs. The guard armor, in addition to disassembling quicker than a cup stack speedrun, also provides potent offense at the plate for Team Heartless. Despite being an early stage boss, the GA packs a literal 1-2 punch that can make unsuspecting newcomers see stars. That power will serve his team well when he runs into a misplaced pitch and sends it careening away like Team Rocket for a home run. That mix of defensive utility and offensive aptitude makes guard armor an integral piece of our band of athletic evildoers. How do our homies feel about this selection?
First base being the guard armor. He's gonna have an insane amount of reach. I think that's good for a first baseman. The only thing is you better hope that that third baseman has good aim, like pinpoint accurate, because this man's got disembodied limbs. He literally never had his limbs attached to him in the first place. So that means if that ball is not right on target, it can go right between that torso and the gauntlet, or whatever his little arms are called, going straight to the dugout. That's an automatic double. You don't want too many of those. I would also be interested in seeing him bat. I don't know how that's gonna go. I think this is decent. I don't have another person I could think of for first base, so sure, I'll take it.
At first base, Max got guard armor. Okay, sure, he can probably cover decent ground with his Rayman-like appendages, and he'd be no slouch at the plate either. However, here's my issue. Gaps. And I'm not talking about special retailers selling fashionable clothing at moderate prices. No, I'm bone picking the amount of space between those previously mentioned appendages. It's plain and simply a matter of missing surface area. It's a Bill Buckner situation just waiting to happen. Instead, I offer the Air Soldier. Quick, nimble, can move in all directions. Most importantly, you want someone at first base who can save a bad throw. If it's too high, Air Soldier can elevate and go grab it. Too low, Air Soldier can dive down and make the scoop. Even if it somehow gets past him, he's probably going to be able to quickly locate and track down the ball to keep the runner from going any farther than second base. He's a reliable defensive asset that any team would be happy to have.
So Pointful and I are on the same page, but BJ makes a really good point with the Air Soldier. I do like that versatility, but I'll stick with the guard armor purely for the power potential. And because I already made the list.
It's a twister! It's a twister!
Some of y'all are going to see this pick and think, Mac, in all your infinite wisdom, you seem to have picked a second baseman with teeny tiny little nubs for legs. Why have you done this? And also, how do you shape your beard so nice? Well, my answer to both of those questions is the same. Long arms. What the tornado step lacks in stature, it makes up for in wingspan. These long, lengthy limbs are lockdown lattices that lay out to lasso liners and loopers alike. This arrow-powered fellow won't be a focal point of Team Heartless's offense, as he doesn't exactly have the force of F5 wins behind him, but it'll be a solid addition to the team as a good defensive option. Just don't expect him to steal many bases or beat out any infield plays. These tubby toes aren't going to win many foot races. Like a revolutionary blue ant, the tornado step is one small aspect that realizes its true potential when working in tandem with others. This Windy Widow weapon is a glove first, bat eventually end piece of the lineup, and even if it doesn't fill his team's sails, it should make manning second base look like a breeze. What say you, friends?
Okay. Here's my first real problem with your picks, Mac. What are we doing? Tornado step, second base? Come on. I'll give him this. His little tornado arms would be good for quick turns on starting double plays, but that's where my compliments end. He's too small. Plus, I'm pretty sure his spinny arm attack is restricted to a straight line, so even the best thing he's got going for him is pretty weak. We gotta do better. So I give you invisible. His offensive prowess is obvious. I mean, look at those abs. The dude is pure muscle. But he'd be a defensive stud as well. He'd be tagging out sliding base runners with that powerful strength as if he was throwing his sword into the ground. But my best case for invisible at second actually comes down to who I have at shortstop. So you'll have to wait for that. How's that for a tease?
All right, we're going into second base now with Tornado Step. Going from guard armor to Tornado Step. Good lord, this guy is so small. He's so little. Oh my god, somebody please save him out there. I love him though. I do think if he can get the height, his little spinny move thing can help him jump and throw in one movement. I think that's pretty good for a second baseman. Jump, spin, get him out. In terms of batting, I think it makes sense that he's batting last because I don't think he has any muscle and I don't know how he's gonna run. I'm happy that he's here, but I do think he is tiny and I hope he does not get stepped on. But he's a cutie, so who cares?
I picked an edgelord for the original team's shortstop position, so I may as well run it back here. I'm kidding, Riku stands. Please don't come for me. I swear it's a harmless joke. All in good fun. Haha, we're having fun. Yay. The Neo Shadow is one of the most well-rounded Heartless in the series. I mean, a Morningstar is technically more round, but it's whatever. Quick as a flash, deceptively powerful, and frustratingly intelligent, these beasts are Square Enix's best attempt at turning my cat into a video game enemy. They're one of the most fearsome adversaries in the KH series. That's why this guy is not only holding down one of the most demanding positions on the diamond, but is also going to act as the captain of Team Heartless. Neo Shadow's basically a 5-tool player, so he'll be the beating Heartless of both the offense and defense of our sinister squad. Those 5 tools are, of course, anger, hatred, scary, bad vibes, and speed. His ability to disappear into the ground and move through the Earth's shadow, I guess, will make his fielding ability second to none, and his quick hands should allow him to hit to all parts of the outfield at the plate. If there's one player on our roster that other teams should be worried about, it's the Neo Shadow. Surely my friends won't take issue with this pick, right?
Alright, Neo Shadow as our shortstop. I think this is fine. Neo Shadows are just beefy, regular shadows. They kind of turn into puddles. Can he make any plays on the ground? I could see somebody maybe like the Sergeant from 35802 taking this spot. He's fast. He's got big hands, so he's got the potential to make plays because he can catch things pretty easily, I would say. He's also got height, so he can make good catches, he can jump up, he can reach up, he can get those things. He's also got strength for hitting, I would say, so he could bring some good strength into the middle of the lineup. I also feel like we can't look over the fact that he comes with his own batting gear, so we can save the team on some money on the equipment. I also can't deny that I do just love the look of Soldiers and the Sergeant, and I kind of want him represented in this team because I think he's cute and I love the sound of them when they run around and clank. I still say that he's fast, he's got big hands. I think he would be set, so I'll leave that there.
At shortstop, you've got Neo Shadow. Listen, I'm not going to trash this pick too much. Neo Shadows are strong, they're intimidating, they move well. My problem with this pick actually comes off the field. See, we want a leader at short, and I don't think Neo Shadow's got what it takes to fill that role. Think about his most effective move. He drops into the ground like a coward. Sounds to me like someone who wants to duck responsibility. I'm also extremely concerned about his attitude. This guy just looks like a jerk. Do we really want to deal with a locker room problem like that? No. So my pick for shortstop is gonna be Angel Star. Boom. First off, supreme defense. Think about his impenetrable guard ability. Think about how annoying it is to try to hit him when he starts floating up high. That's just good D, baby.
Hey, yo!
But here's the kicker, and now I can put the cherry on top of my invisible pick at second base. Look at that double play combo. If you see an invisible in the games, Angel Star's never far away. That's just pure chemistry. You know my favorite Angel numbers? 643, baby.
Okay, some pretty interesting opinions here. Between the Neo Shadow, Sargent, and Angel Star, who do you think is the best pick for our shortstop position? Let me know in the comments below, and let's press on.
You're so big.
The Metal Troll, in addition to being one of my favorite Heartless aesthetically, is at the uppermost echelon of power. With his sick-ass axe, he'll send any pitch he connects with out of the stadium and into the lanes between. Because of his size and girth, calm down, he'll essentially function as a wall at third base. Mobility won't be his strong suit. Instead, the sheer mass, calm down, of the troll from Central Dark will be enough to cut down most balls sent his way. Conventional wisdom would dictate that third be handled by someone with lightning reflexes and soft hands, but the Heartless aren't exactly known for doing things by the book. They're the literal embodiments of the concept of darkness, so I guess that's to be expected, but it's for that reason that Metal Troll bucks the trends of typical baseball knowledge, and instead will make his case for a Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, or some other metallic baseball award as a member of this troublesome troop of ball players. As far as power,
oh, forget about it.
Metal Troll's basically a Gundam, and boasts strength that Dynamax Machamp would be jealous of. Even getting a piece of a ball in a swing should do some serious damage, especially to anyone caught in its path back up the baseline. The Metal Troll is like if Aaron Judge had a Megazord, and that analogy alone is enough for me to comfortably slot him in as our cleanup hitter.
Okay, I get it. Metal Troll, big tough guy. He's a bruiser, can hit for power. Honestly, probably a good contact guy too. He's a model third baseman. But can he field? I look at old Trolley Boy here and I don't see someone with elite reaction time. Can he make plays? I don't think so. When I think third base, I think Mike Schmidt, I think Nolan Arenado, I think diving plays with cannon arms across the infield on the money. I don't see it with this old clanker here. On the other hand, let me present you with an absolute stud. You want the toughness and size for Metal Troll? Well, what if I could give you that plus speed, agility, and the intimidation factor? I give you Dark Hide. Now, listen, let's not get bogged down in trying to work out how we would even hold a bat. And let's just appreciate how terrifying this beauty is. Good luck coming up and in on this beast. Dark Hide, lock it in. Next.
He's so large and beefy, I really have no idea how he's making any plays at third, which is kind of a crucial place to stop a runner. He doesn't seem to have a lot of movement with his arms, with all that armor going on. I fear that any balls that are hit towards him are just gonna kind of ricochet off of him. I feel like in this position, we could maybe fit a tail bunker in here. So like third baseman, how often do you see they have to run all the way out to the rain tarp to jump over it to catch a foul ball, trying to force an out, you know? I think sometimes those players wish they could fly, and I think that tail bunker would be perfect. I know he probably wouldn't have a lot of arm strength in terms of throwing it to first or second, because he's got little dino arms, but he will be getting them out at third. I think that should take priority. Plus, with the other guys that we've got, the really agility-focused guys, I think that's pretty good. I will say, after talking about how third baseman needs to be good on their aim in order to get the out at first, maybe he is not the best. But if we can find someone like, there's a couple cannon Heartless, if we can get some of those, catch the ball in their little freaking cannon, and then shoot it straight over to first, we can do that too. I feel like we've got options. I just think Metal Troll is huge. I feel like he is going to be taken over by the fact that he is literally just armor. And that seems too heavy and cumbersome to me, but whatever. I will say I do also just kind of want a dinosaur on this team. Why wouldn't we go for the fun option here, you know? I just want a dinosaur.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, who wouldn't want a dinosaur? Or a giant saber-toothed tiger Heartless steel, too. We're getting pretty animalistic this time around. Once again, let me know which of these picks you'd prefer, and let's get into our outfield. No, the screwdriver isn't a tool that my dad used to scream at me to find while I held a flashlight. It's that aquatic adversary that made Atlantica even more difficult than it first seems. This flippered jabroni boasts decent speed and has excellent range of motion, especially when he's zipping around the various grottos and alcoves of the watery world. Usually teamed up with Waylord aqua tanks, the screwdriver's no slouch on its own and is more than happy to jam his trident into your Mariana Trench if given the opportunity. Because of his maneuverability and familiarity with a bludgeon weapon, he's a no-brainer to be offered a spot on Team Heartless. While not exactly a big bopper, the screwdriver still holds its own offensively. Using the trident as a bat, is that legal? I don't know, man. Take it up with Rob Manfred. It seems like he'll let anything go these days.
And I want to apologize for that.
The diving desperado can shoot the ball down the line and motor his way on down to second or third base. Those of you that are more detail-oriented will notice that the screwdriver may be at somewhat of a disadvantage in the outfield grass, as opposed to his usual undersea domain. And yeah, that's a fair call-out, but that's what the little propeller is for. Look at it right there. It's cute, isn't it? Not only will this help him get around the baseball field, he'll also look like a cutie patootie doing it. With that indisputable logic in mind, the screwdriver makes perfect sense as our left fielder. Do my pals have similar thoughts? Let's find out.
Left field, screwdriver. I love these guys. They look so regal to me. They're so fun. I love Atlantica. Everyone else can fuck off. I do worry slightly about their catching abilities, as they're like kind of always carrying spears, but that does seem great for batting, so I guess that's fine. I'm imagining another ricochet scenario where a fly ball comes their way and they're hitting it to another player to get that out. I mean, I guess he does also have his other hand. I do also want to talk about another built-in batting gear scenario. He's already got his helmet and his bat. We literally do not need to pay for this man's equipment at all. I think this is a good leadoff hitter. It's kind of hard to think of a different guy for this job. Already got the bat in place. He's already smacking things around. I feel like there could be one other Heartless that I can imagine, but I think we'll get to that later. We'll let it simmer for a bit here.
I can't wait to see it.
But yeah, screwdriver, cool. Sure. I hope that his walk-up song is Finny Fun. Okay, bye.
Dance, dance, dance.
At left field, you've got Screwdriver. Another poor choice. I'm sorry, brother. I just don't see it.
You just don't get it, do you?
I guess he'd do well in wetter atmospheres like Miami, and he can cover ground relatively quickly, but he falls well short in pretty much every other category. He's too small. I don't see this guy putting up offensive numbers. At best, he's coming in a pinch run to put speed on the bases. I don't know, man. I'd love to see you spin this into somehow being a smart choice. In the meantime, I'm walking away from your foolish fancies of diving screw to talk about a real star in the outfield. My first of 3 players who just want to go fast. Now, Peter Pan's World of Neverland in Kingdom Hearts 1 is a fascinating place. We're somewhat reunited with Kyrie. We get to fly around actual London, and we get arguably the greatest voice-cracking line deliveries in the entire franchise. Insert, "You're stupid!"
You're stupid!
It also happens to be home to an easily missable Heartless, the jet balloon. It's pure uncontrollable madness with this guy. One of the fastest Heartless in the entire series, if not the fastest. This bad mother will flatten you, take your money, and shoot little guys at you from across the field, all before you can say, walk the plank. Good luck even making contact. Watch out, Benny Rodriguez. There's a new jet in town.
You're killing me, Smalls.
But you have heard of me.
The Air Pirate is our selection for center field. This position requires the fielder to be light on their feet, so who better to man the spot than someone that literally flies around? Like Ventus on our good guy team, the Air Pirate's affinity for, well, air obviously, will allow him to zip around the outfield and make tracking down fly balls look as easy as sailing a ship, which, if Sea of Thieves has taught me anything, is actually just about the hardest thing you can do in the entire world.
What? Dude, holy shit. Oh my god.
The AP is fairly quick too, so getting on base could be a precursor to a stolen bag or two. After all, pirates love stealing stuff, so it should be second nature to them. Look, some of this reasoning is going to be fairly surface level, I don't know what to tell you. The floating freebooter's offense is nothing to scoff at either. He's got power to all sides, be it port, stern, bow, or starboard. He doesn't have the pop of our heaviest hitters, but the Air Pirate's no guppy. It should be a scary sight when opposing clubs see him on deck. The versatility that the Air Pirate brings to the table cannot be denied. Even if he isn't a vital part of our crew, I, AYE, think he should provide enough offense to shiver the timbers of other teams and send them to Davy Jones' locker. Jesus, are y'all sick of these pirate puns yet? I don't blame you, honestly. What do my homies have to say about my center fielding sea dog?
Ooh, back-to-back bad picks. Sorry, man. You're hitting a rough dip here. Air Pirate just ain't it. He's got the reach. He'll make some diving plays. But we're going for top tier here, and you swung and missed. My center fielder, I'm coming out of left field and picking Black Ballad. What? You may cry. And to that I say, Black Ballad has pure, unadulterated speed. When you enter that clearing in deep jungle, you better get your eyes in keep-up mode. Not only is he fast as fuck, boy, but he would be mad confusing for base runners. We know players look at the fielder to judge whether or not they have enough time to advance a base on a fly ball. Well, BB here can combine that crazy speed with his duplication technique to create chaos in the outfield. Where is he? I don't know. Do you dare risk running on him? That is a one-of-a-kind player out there in center.
All right, center field being Air Pirate. I love these guys. I think this makes sense to me. They're definitely going to get that height that they need for being center field because they can fly. Does that make sense?
That's exactly right.
Definitely going to be able to make some solid, unfair home run steals out there, which is always fun to watch. Thinking of Ramon Laureano specifically. Miss that guy. He's also got big fists. Big fists usually mean big hands. That also means easier plays to me, so that sounds about right. They also seem like they could hit decently well. I think the only problem I can imagine is that they probably don't have a lot of lower body power because they're flying up in the air. Can't really get a good wide stance like that. There's no leg movement, nothing. They're gonna have to do a lot of work to get that ball over the people in the infield. Who's to say? I feel like them being out there in center field makes up for the fact that they may not be the best hitter. So I'm here for it. You know, all arm day, no leg day, whatever. Just get the ball in play and try to make it. I like them. I think this makes sense. I'll take it.
You know, part of the fun for this, at least for me, is learning about the different ways my friends and I differ as far as what we're looking for in these players and how we scout them. This has been kind of cool to figure out what we all consider to be important aspects of the game versus not as important. I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, you can be the toy that comes with the meal.
No, you can't just pick a massive spaceship as a baseball player. You need to pick something more humanoid. It doesn't even have hands. It doesn't make any sense. No.
Can you let me live my life?
The King of Toys is an unorthodox pick, to be sure, but I just couldn't resist the allure of having a very literal outfield cannon on our roster. The KOT is the MVP of KH3, if you ask me, in that he's one of the most creative new Heartless in the game, in my opinion. Look how cool he is. Featuring an array of armaments that would make Cyborg 004 blush, niche reference, the Prince of Playthings isn't the most agile of players, but should make up for it with some strong showings both in the field and at the plate. Might a few shallow fly balls get past him occasionally? Sure, and I'm willing to accept the consequences of that. Still, I think the UFO shit howitzer that he provides is worth some questionable fielding ability. I'm going to go ahead and get in front of the criticism now before somebody makes a comment about it. Yes, I've noticed that the Monarch of Miniatures doesn't exactly have arms or hands with which to hold a bat. Worry not, fair viewers, as I have prepared an extensive research-based solution to accommodate this situation. With this new configuration, I figure the Baron of Baubles can spin like a Beyblade and smack a few long fly balls. And if that doesn't work, I don't know, shoot a rocket at the pitcher or something. That always seems to yield results.
Okay, right field is King of Toys. Like, I respect that there must be a vision, but I don't know what that vision is. He's literally just a spaceship. I feel like we could reorg the entire outfield to fit an assault. I feel like he'll be fast enough to catch just about any fly ball because he's a whole ass horse. That's like all that they do, I think, is run and frolic and run. But he's a horse with hands, so he could run to the ball and catch it. And he's huge. He's so tall. So I think that he needs to be out there in the outfield. I think we're doing him a disservice by not putting him out there. I don't know if he can jump like the rest of them can jump or fly, but you know what? Who's to say that he's not a show pony? Horses jump. They jump over those little hurdle things all the time, so I think that he could do it. He could jump if he needs to. He seems like he would do it. Get up on his little hind legs. Then he must be like 12 feet tall. Who knows? I think that makes sense. I also feel like he would be a good batter because, again, he already comes with his own bat and he's fucking yoked. Man's huge. And then he's running to first on all four of his little legs. He is mowing down anyone at first base. I think it's perfect. We need Assault Rider and we need him now.
All right, in right field, we're going Who? King of Toys. Okay, sure. Fine. Let's see. Pros, he's fucking huge. Super fast. Clearly a 5-tool player. Cons, too silly. Locker room distraction.
What?
My pick, Demon Tower. Pros, also fucking huge. Nothing getting over his head. And the image of it just using an extension of itself as a bat is absolutely funny. Think about those little shadows getting sacrificed every time there's contact. I love it. That's all I got.
Damn, BJ, what those shadows ever do to you? Between the Demon Tower and the Assault Rider, I think we've got 2 solid picks, but it just can't get over the power potential of the King of Toys. Between that and my personal preference for that Heartless, I'm happy keeping him where he is in right field. But again, let me know what y'all think. With all of our fielders set, there's just one more offensive bat to grab, and that's our designated hitter. It's time to pick out the final bat in our lineup. I went through a few different candidates for the spot, but I finally decided on the only Heartless that looks like he's graced the cover of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. The Invisible is one of the most formidable enemies in KH1, able to shoot fireballs, thwack you in the head with his paddle, and make you reconsider if you even want to finish the end of the world. This smoldering soldier's abs aren't the only thing that's hard about it.
Oh, that's gross.
I meant its difficulty. If the damage he's dealt to me is any indication, the Invisible is very comfortable swinging his sword around, so if he keeps that same energy with his bat, then he's going to be a terrifying hitter to face. He's also deceptively nimble, so he should be able to leg or float or teleport or whatever out some extra base hits and drive in plenty of runs. As the designated hitter, the hottest Heartless' only job is to dish out offensive punishment. I don't think he'll have any issues with that.
Right, so designated hitter, I can't give you much grief for your pick here, as I already got my boy Invisible playing up the middle at second. I will suggest an even better pick, though. Remember Neverland and the easy-to-miss Heartless? Well, there's another optional Heartless here that leaves most quaking in their oversized Sora shoes. Take a trip up to Big Ben post-game style and find yourself face to face with the Phantom. Slap a baseball uniform on him and call it a day. Phantom's going to control every at-bat, much like his in-game fight. You don't get to dictate how the matchup goes. Sure, he's got weaknesses, but if you don't have the patience to exploit them, he will destroy you. Time's a ticking.
Okay, now we have reached our DH, which is the Invisible. Now, I did suggest this in the discussion of making this video with Matt, and I still stand by this. I think this Heartless is the honorary third Bash brother, full douchebag energy and all. Tell me this guy doesn't ride out. I mean, what? I'm just kidding. The only reason why I'd hesitate to say yes, obviously, to this choice is because I do think his flying could come in handy on the field. Also, I feel like turning invisible could be an asset to faking out the batter, but you just gotta hope that he is calling out his balls when he's trying to catch him out there in the outfield, because then you're really gonna have a crash out there. But tell me he is not just a Bash brother. Man is full roided. I think it's perfect.
I think he's on steroids.
Boom! That's one good-looking lineup of Heartless. Probably not as much defensive utility as the Traverse Town Travelers, but a lot of offensive upside. With 3 roster spots and 1 manager role still left to fill, let's round out the last few members of our team of terrors.
That still only counts as one!
Our first starting pitcher spot will go to the Bizarre Archer. Sorry, Bizarre Archer? I'm no game developer, but Bizarcher was right there, man. Anyway, the Bizarcher boasts pinpoint accuracy and a sick fit, so he'll be a money pick to take them out for Team Heartless. While not exactly a fireballer, this diminutive hurler can place his pitches to a T, and that'll be his game plan during starts. Robin Hood himself, I mean the human one, not the one that made an entire generation of people have uncomfortable internal conversations, couldn't dream of the placement that the itty-bitty Bowman will command with his pitching. Painting the black of the strike zone will demoralize hitters and make them take uninspired swings, generating very weak contact, if any contact at all. What a little psychological terror this guy is, huh? Much like in the games, though, the Bizarcher can be overpowered fairly easily, like me when picking a movie to watch with my roommates. If he misses location even a little, he'll see his pitches get knocked a long way out, especially against stronger batters. But hey, don't count him out. This little fella has certainly been an arrow in my knee throughout my playthroughs. Consider him an underdog that could show a lot of heart if he's able to keep the big bats of his opponents in check.
Alright, we have hit our starting pitcher. Starting pitcher number 1, the Bizarre Archer. He is the cutest little thing I've ever seen in my life. I literally have 0 notes. He just shoots projectiles and he's adorable. Honestly, that's it. That's all a pitcher should be. I don't know why I just thought of Sean Mania right now, but he just shoots projectiles and is adorable, so I guess that makes sense.
What a dreamboat.
All right, so I'm actually not going to knock any of your starting pitchers. Instead, I'll help you fill out the rotation. To start off, look, we've all done it. You're stumbling around Traverse Town looking for plot progression when you see a single bouncy monkey down below. Might as well take her out. What do you know? 2 more spawn. Okay. Oh, and then 3. Oh, at this point, you just want to move on. They're not really worth your time. But what's this? A crosshair appears, and suddenly you've been pelted relentlessly. You're freaking out, but it's too late. You've been sniped to death. Sniper Wild is my ace. If you can't get to her in the first inning, you're in for a long night. Combined with precision accuracy, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. When this monkey sees your face, she'll make you a believer. Take a
look, it's in a book. Can an unabashed book nerd play the sport of baseball? It seemed to work out pretty well for the benchwarmers, so we may as well go for it here. I'm kidding, by the way, that movie is not good. The Bookmaster's a magic-based Heartless that's going to function very similarly to Aqua in the original video, but with less awesome fashion sense, and more channeling of the power of book learning with Macaulay Culkin. And more channeling of the power of book learning with Macaulay Culkin. Oh, whatever. Nope. Bookmaster will use fire, thunder, and blizzard magic to infuse his pitches with various magical properties and confound hitters with some element-laced attacks. The Bizarcher is going to be more accurate, but the Bookmaster is going to have a much more versatile array of options with which to approach each at-bat, and that makes this studio starter an exciting roster addition. Most of our Heartless team have pretty one-dimensional game plans, so having a starting pitcher with the ability to not only switch up the magic that he utilizes, but also revert to physical confrontation if necessary, is definitely a boon for our team. The Bookmaster might be an odd pick, but hey, analytics are a huge part of baseball these days, so a scholar like him should fit in just fine.
My other pitcher's gonna be a bit of a wild card, but I've got Parasol Beauty coming in to show some female representation. That's right, there's no crying in baseball until you step to the plate and realize you gotta deal with this voluptuous Victorian vixen. But dry your tears quick because you got to be ready for her laser fastball. Or will it be the umbrella Gatling? That's right, we got fastball variety with unpredictable movement. That's a deadly combination. Bring your A game to this battle royale, because ain't no mercy from this femme fatale.
Other starting pitcher, Bookmaster. Sure. Honestly, he's cute. I love this little guy, but I feel like we can do better. I honestly feel like we're missing the opportunity here to use a bouncy wild or a sniper wild. They also throw projectiles, and I think we really need to capitalize on this silly and campy visual of using a slingshot in a baseball game. I feel like that's the kind of gag you'd see in like a Peanuts comic. I also love the goof and the gag of potentially throwing a banana peel out there for the batter to slip on. We are creating threats out here for the other team. I also feel like we can have the Savannah Bananas for real, because we are actually throwing banana peels out there. It's perfect. 1-2 punch, it's beautiful. So like Bookmaster, fine. But Sniper Wild, Bouncy Wild, either of them, going to champion those two, for sure.
Oh my god.
No, please stop. Oh god, it hurts. Closers are often some of the more disliked players in the sport because of their occupation as the shutter-downer of rallies and comebacks. These hurlers also tend to have overpowering, demoralizing stuff, shutting the door with some of the most formidable pitching of all. These reasons have therefore led me to fill our last roster spot with the goddamn Crimson Jazz. No one that's played through KH2 is unfamiliar with this giant explodey bastard. The Jazz packs a small neutron bomb as a primary attack, so all he's got to do is just point that at the batter and watch the fireworks. The Bizarcher and Bookmaster both have their specialties, but neither possess the raw, destructive power that the Crimson Jazz does. And that's why he'll be the last one on the mound for Team Heartless. Because both of our starters specialize more in softer, unique pitching styles, CJ is going to make for a tough adjustment when enemy batters have to deal with a fastball that could reasonably turn anyone nearby into a Hulk. Does it matter that the Crimson Jazz doesn't have hands? Maybe to some of you, but I can attest to being personally victimized by this monstrosity, and he didn't need fingers to run my pockets then. I think he'll be just fine in his approach to sending fiery death balls in the direction of rival batters, and will be the perfect backhand accent to our pitching staff.
Okay, rounding out the pitching, closing pitcher, Crimson Jazz. I like it. And honestly, I think any fire mage would work well because they can throw literal heaters. What else do you need? I can't think of anything else. I think this is fine. Perfect. Good. Beautiful.
Listen, I get it. You got a fireball chucker at closer. It's not a bad pick. I'm still going to try to raise you, though. Picture this. We're up by 1 run. We got to shut the door on the other team. I don't want to give them even the slightest hope of going home happy. I'm bringing in my guy. He exists in the threshold between life and death. His only purpose is to ferry hearts to the world of darkness. The one, the only, the Lich. Talk about intimidation. When you step up to the plate, you have to face the literal Grim Reaper. Well, abandon all hope, ye who enter this bitch. Do you know what I'm saying? Imagine the lights go off. Silence. And then bells. That's right, it's the Undertaker's Rest in Peace theme. Just like that, your heart's been ripped from your chest. There is no hope, only the abyss.
And that's the full team. It's a bit more rough around the edges than our initial squad, but I think this is a solid assembly of evildoers that hit hard, pitch well, and field enough, just like last time. Our final addition is this team's manager, and I think this one might be a bit of a hot take.
Darkness within darkness.
Okay, don't come for me, let me explain. Is Ansem Seeker of Darkness the strongest Heartless? Yes. Would he be an impactful player on the field? Undoubtedly. Is sidelining him to a manager role a questionable decision that will likely result in both my friends and internet strangers looking at me sideways? Anyway, the reason Ansem is on the top step of the dugout instead of the field is because he's so used to letting others do his dirty work for him. I mean, he spends virtually all of KH1 letting his minions deal with Sora and the crew, and only shows up at the very end for the final confrontation. I mean, even then, he literally doesn't lift a finger until absolutely forced to, which I believe will translate into his role as manager of our Heartless team. Ansem's natural ability to take the helm and lead those of lesser mental fortitude, or maybe even no mental fortitude, makes him an ideal candidate for our manager spot. Plus, if it comes down to it, we've seen that he's willing to take drastic measures to get his way. If his team struggles, maybe Ansem will find some sort of loophole or underhanded tactic to give his team the edge. Boy, imagine a cheating scandal in a Kingdom Hearts baseball league. Like, imagine the phone call like, yeah, the Invincible has been handed a 70-game suspension after testing positive for a Megalixir mixed with stanozolol. Still, scandals aside, the original big bad evil guy of the Kingdom Hearts series will serve as the skipper of our Heartless baseball team.
Yeah, so you absolutely nailed it with Ansem as manager. He is, being a Heartless himself, truly a player's manager. However, that old bastard Xehanort, there's your prototypical crotchety, old school baseball to hell with analytics. You hit our guy, we'll hit yours. Don't try to bunt in a no-hitter. If you hit a home run, you jog around the bases in an appropriate amount of time with your head down, and don't let me catch you celebrating too much. Arr, get off my lawn. Yeah. Xehanort's not really like that. You got a perfect pick in Ansem, so well done.
Okay, and then rounding it all off with our manager being Ansem. Duh. I think there's literally no other choice, and he'd be a fool to say otherwise. This is like the only option. I would like him to have a loudmouth, either as an assistant manager or a base coach, maybe even the mascot, because he can heal players and call in for substitutes or something. But Ansem himself, this is literally the only option, and I will not take anyone else's opinion on the matter.
So with all of that said, here is our complete team of baddies, and they're known as the Dark World Devils. This new squad of baseball badniks has been expertly assembled, yeah, I'm so sure, to do battle with the Traverse Town Travelers in contention for the World Series Championship. Who will come out on top? I want to thank you all for watching yet another one of my hyper-specific videos. This is about as niche a subject as it gets, so if any of you guys find this fun or compelling, then it's worth it to me, honestly. I also want to thank my Ultra Pals Pointful and BJ Burnsy for their time, opinions, and breakdowns on my team. They're both fantastic people, and you should follow them here. BJ has both a YouTube and a Twitter, which you should absolutely go out of your way to follow. And Pointful doesn't have any social media, but has asked me to let you know that you can follow her into the ocean. So, go ahead and do that at your own risk. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in KH Baseball 3 Unversed Edition. Ha! No, I'm just kidding. Unless...